Imagine a night under the stars, a crackling campfire, and an unseen presence watching, waiting. This isn't a scene from a Hollywood horror flick. No, this is a chillingly true tale of a camping trip that turned into a night of terror. Our story begins in the heart of a remote forest, where a group of friends decided to escape the hustle and bustle of city life. Their laughter echoed through the trees, their spirits high, their minds oblivious to the terror that awaited them. As daylight faded into the inky blackness of night, they huddled around the campfire, sharing stories and roasting marshmallows, unaware of the eyes that watched them from the shadows. The first sign of the unseen presence was a whisper, a rustling of leaves. It was easy to dismiss as the wind or a nocturnal creature. But then, their food started disappearing. Items they'd left out were gone, replaced by an eerie silence that seemed to hum with anticipation. The friends laughed it off, blaming forgetful minds or hungry raccoons. But the feeling of being watched, of being prey, began to creep into their minds, turning their laughter hollow. The night wore on, the strange noises persisting. The rustling leaves turned into footsteps, the silence into an oppressive weight. Unease turned into fear as they realized they weren't alone. But who or what shared the forest with them? The darkness held the answer, an answer they weren't ready to face. As dawn broke, casting long shadows across the forest floor, they discovered a chilling truth. Footprints circled their tents, a silent testament to the unseen stalker in the night. The marks were fresh, the imprints deep. Someone or something had been there, watching them, waiting. They had been prey in the most primal sense, a realization that sent shivers down their spines. As the sun rose, they found they weren't alone. Footprints circled their tents, a silent testament to the unseen stalker in the night. What if your serene getaway turned into a scene from a horror novel? Imagine this. You're nestled in a quaint cabin far from the hustle and bustle of city life. You and your partner, eager to explore, stumble upon an old, weather-beaten diary tucked away in a dusty corner. The intrigue is irresistible, so you settle in, the crackling fire your only company besides each other. The diary's pages are filled with the experiences of past visitors, each entry a snapshot of time. The first few entries are mundane, detailing simple joys, the scent of pine, the tranquil silence, the sight of deer grazing at dawn. Yet as you delve deeper, the tone shifts. The entries become less about the beauty of nature and more about an unsettling presence. One entry speaks of strange noises in the night, like the sound of someone or something moving around the cabin. Another describes an eerie feeling of being watched, the author's words tinged with a palpable fear. The entries grow progressively more disturbing, the sense of dread deepening with each turn of the page. You exchange worried glances, but the pull of the diary is too strong. You continue reading, the words painting a chilling picture of paranoia and fear. The entries are now filled with panic-stricken accounts of unseen entities, strange symbols etched into the trees, and footprints appearing mysteriously around the cabin. Then you reach the final entry. The handwriting is shaky, the words rushed. The terror of the author is palpable as they write about an indescribable creature lurking outside, its guttural growls filling the silent night. The entry ends abruptly, the author's fear spilling from the page, leaving you with a bone-chilling conclusion. The final entry was chilling. It's outside the door, I can hear it scratching. I don't think I'll see the morning. You're left in stunned silence, the crackling fire suddenly seeming less comforting, the secluded cabin less serene. This was meant to be a peaceful escape. Instead, it's become a chilling echo of past horrors. Now we delve deeper into the inky darkness, where shadows aren't just shadows. Imagine you're nestled in the heart of the wilderness, the only light being the flickering flames from your campfire. You're alone, save for the rustling leaves and the distant hoot of an owl. Suddenly, you sense a shift in the atmosphere. The wind howls a little louder, the trees creak a little eerier, and the darkness around you seems to thicken. The shadows cast by the fire start to move in ways that make your heart pound in your chest. They're not just shadows anymore, there's something more sinister. Our lone camper, let's call him Ethan, was an experienced outdoorsman. He'd spent countless nights under the stars, and he knew every sound the woods could make. But this time, the sounds were different. The whispers of the wind carried an ominous echo. The rustling leaves seemed to hide whispers of unseen creatures. The shadows danced and moved with an eerie purpose. Ethan tried to shake off the feeling, attributing it to an overactive imagination. He zipped up his tent and tried to sleep, but sleep eluded him. The shadows seemed to press against the thin fabric of his tent, weaving terrifying images. He could hear soft footfalls outside, circling his tent, the crunch of leaves under unseen feet. The shadows were no longer confined to the ground. They were around him, above him, closing in on him. The crescendo of fear reached its peak when Ethan heard a low growl outside his tent. His heart pounded in his chest like a drumbeat of danger. He held his breath, clutching his flashlight, his only weapon against the encroaching darkness. The growl echoed again, closer this time, and then the unthinkable happened. The tent was suddenly bathed in a chilling darkness, as if something had extinguished his campfire. In a surge of adrenaline, Ethan burst out of his tent, his flashlight cutting through the inky blackness. The shadows recoiled, revealing nothing but the empty wilderness, but Ethan could feel their presence, their malevolent intent. He could hear them whispering, their voices carried on the wind. They were chasing him. Fear lent wings to his feet as he ran, stumbling through the undergrowth, his flashlight beam dancing wildly. Each shadow seemed to reach for him, their dark tendrils stretching out to catch him. The forest was a labyrinth of darkness, with the sinister shadows in pursuit. His heart pounded in his ears, his breath came in ragged gasps, but he kept running from the terror that lurked in the shadows. The forest echoed with his frantic footsteps, the rustling leaves, the menacing whispers of the shadows. The inky darkness seemed to come alive around him, the shadows morphing into unseen horrors. He was no longer just running from shadows, he was running from the very darkness itself. He fled through the forest, the darkness alive with unseen horrors, the shadows in pursuit, and finally, the chilling tale of an innocuous hike that led to an unnerving discovery. Our narrative takes us to an ordinary family out on a beautiful day, their hearts filled with the joy of nature. Their laughter echoed through the serene forest, oblivious to the dark secret it held. As they ventured deeper, they stumbled upon a sight that immediately drained the color from their faces. An abandoned campsite. The remnants of a once hearty meal lay scattered across a makeshift table, left untouched as if the diners had vanished in the middle of their feast. The smell of decay hung heavy in the air, a grim testament to the passage of time. The tent nearby, once a sanctuary against the wilderness, stood ripped open, its insides ravaged as if by unseen claws. But what truly struck a chilling chord in their hearts was the sight of a child's toy, lying forgotten in the dirt. It was a simple thing, a ragged doll, its once bright eyes now dull and lifeless, its smile an eerie contrast to the surrounding desolation. It was a silent testament to the innocence lost, a stark reminder of the child who once held it dear. The family, gripped by a sense of dread, quickly gathered their belongings. The laughter that once echoed through the forest was replaced by oppressive silence. As they hurried away, each rustle in the undergrowth, every shadow flickering in the corner of their eyes, seemed to whisper tales of the missing campers. Even after they were miles away, they couldn't shake the feeling of unease. It was as if the forest itself was watching them, its silent gaze following their every move. The image of the abandoned campsite, especially that haunting ragged doll, lingered in their minds, a grim reminder of the terror that lurked in the heart of the wilderness. They left the silent campsite behind, but the image of the abandoned toy, a haunting reminder of the missing campers, lingered in their minds. These are but echoes of the horrors that lurk in the wilderness. From unseen stalkers that instill paralyzing fear, to forgotten diaries that offer a glimpse into the unexplained, each tale we've traversed is a disturbing testament to the unknown terrors that may await in the great outdoors. The sinister shadows that dance in the night, whispering tales of dread, serve as a stark reminder of the dangers that can hide in the darkness. And the unnerving discoveries that shatter the serenity of the wild leave an indelible mark on our subconscious, forever altering our perception of the seemingly innocent wilderness. Each story, a chilling narrative of the eerie and the inexplicable, serves as a grim reminder of the unsettling reality that sometimes the most horrifying stories are the ones that are all too real. Remember these tales the next time you venture into the wild, for in the heart of nature, unknown terrors may await. Before we part ways, my friends, remember the tales we've shared today. Remember the unseen stalkers, the forgotten diaries, the sinister shadows, the unnerving discoveries. They all serve as warnings of the unknown dangers that lie in wait in the wilderness. The next time you venture into the wild, tread lightly, listen carefully, and be prepared. For in the heart of nature, unknown terrors may await. Remember, the most horrifying stories are the ones that are all too real, and sometimes those stories are closer than you think. If you've experienced or heard of any such tales, don't hesitate to share them with us. After all, we're all here to uncover the chilling mysteries that lurk in the shadows. And now, as we bid you a haunting farewell, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Ghostly Legends, for more chilling tales from the unknown. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and most importantly, stay safe. Until next time, remember, the wilderness watches and it waits. Good night, brave explorers of the unknown. May your dreams be free of the terrors we've unearthed.